By the time Ethan moved into the cramped flat above the Camden bar, Amy Winehouse had been gone for years. Yet her presence lingered like cigarette smoke in the walls. Most nights her music drifted faintly from the cracked speakers downstairs. But Ethan, fresh out of rehab, hands still trembling, told himself it was nothing more than coincidence. A playlist, a memory, something harmless. But the first night he heard that version of Love is a Losing Game, he felt the air shift. It wasn't the clean studio track. It was the rough, aching live one. The one he used to drink to. The one he couldn't listen to sober. The bartender later swore they never played live recordings. People want recognizable hits, she insisted. Nothing too raw. Yet every night, just after midnight, the regular music faded. Conversations dimmed. The entire bar fell strangely still. And then her voice rose through the wooden floorboards, intimate, cracked, almost too close, as if she were singing for one specific broken soul directly above her. Ethan noticed the strangest part. The song only played when his cravings peaked, as if something or someone was watching him slip toward the edge. 3 nights in a row, the pattern held. The bar closed at 1 a.m. Lights went out, shutters rattled down. Yet at 1:07 sharp, the same thing happened. The playlist glitched. A soft crackle of static rose from below. And then her voice slipped straight through the floorboards like smoke. Ethan lay awake, staring at the ceiling, counting his breaths the way his therapist taught him. Craving comes like a wave. It will pass, he reminded himself. Below, the first verse began. This time it wasn't Love is a Losing Game. It was, You Know I'm No Good, slowed down like a confession meant for one listener. On the 4th night, his phone buzzed. A photo from his ex. New boyfriend, new drinks, new life. The caption was short. Hope you're staying clean. It didn't feel like hope. It felt like doubt. His chest tightened. For the first time in months, he thought, one drink wouldn't matter. No one expects more from me anyway. The lamp beside his bed flickered and died. The fridge hum cut out. Silence swelled, heavy and unnatural. From beneath his bare feet, through aging wooden boards, came a low, breathy hum. Someone gently warming up their voice. He stood slowly, heart pounding, and stepped to the center of the room. The humming stopped. In the thin slice of stillness that followed, a smoky, fragile whisper rose up from the floor, barely louder than a thought. Ethan! He froze. He hadn't told a single person downstairs his name. Ethan stayed frozen for nearly a full minute, unsure whether to run or listen. Finally, he crouched, pressing his ear to the cold wooden floor. A faint vibration pulsed beneath it, steady, rhythmic, like footsteps pacing in a room that should have been silent. No voices, no music, just the slow circling of someone with something on their mind. He bolted downstairs, fumbling with the keys. The bar was locked from the inside, the way the owner always left it. When Ethan pushed open the door, the room greeted him with darkness and the lingering smell of lime and spilled beer. Chairs were stacked neatly, floors mopped. Nothing disturbed, except one thing. On the counter directly beneath the vent where Amy's songs always seemed to leak through, sat a single glass of whiskey, fresh. Ice half melted. Beads of condensation trickling down the side like someone had just set it there. Ethan's stomach twisted. He hadn't poured a drink in over 6 weeks. He stepped closer. The air turned cold. Not winter cold, but personal, intentional, like someone brushing past him to leave. The jukebox crackled. A soft static hiss filled the room. Then, layered faintly within it, he heard a familiar rasp. Don't sit where I sat. Not when your heart's breaking. He closed his eyes. He knew that voice. The same one that once pulled him deeper into heartbreak, and now, somehow, was pulling him back from the edge. For days, Ethan avoided the bar after closing, afraid of what he might hear, or worse, what he might believe. But it didn't matter. The presence followed him upstairs. Every night the same pattern, a sudden silence, a soft static crackle, then a voice carrying the weight of heartbreak he knew too well. One night the static didn't fade into a song. Instead, it shaped itself into words. "He hurt you," the voice breathed, as if confiding a secret she wished someone had whispered to her. Ethan felt the sting of truth. His addiction hadn't been born from alcohol. It had been born from neglect, from chasing people who only loved the broken parts of him. The room dimmed. His reflection in the window sharpened, and behind him, just for a heartbeat, a woman's silhouette appeared. Beehive hair, hunched posture, a cigarette held loosely between two fingers. She flickered like an old film reel, frame skipping, light bending around her edges. "Pain doesn't make you worthless," she murmured, "but drowning in it, that's how they win." Ethan swallowed hard, a strange comfort settling in his chest. For the first time, the presence didn't feel like a haunting. It felt like someone who had lived his mistakes before he ever made them. Ethan's therapist once told him, mirrors were dangerous for people recovering from addiction. They show you who you were, not who you're becoming. He hadn't believed it then, but he did now. After another long night of whispers rising from the bar, he found himself standing before the bathroom mirror, gripping the sink with trembling fingers. His reflection looked exhausted, eyes rimmed with the familiar ache of wanting something that had already ruined him. But then the lights flickered, and his reflection didn't flicker with them. Instead, the mirrored version of him leaned slightly to the side, making room for someone behind him. A blurry feminine outline emerged, slight shoulders, messy curls, thick eyeliner. Her head tilted the way Amy did when she was listening rather than performing. Ethan spun around, heart pounding, but the hallway was empty. When he looked back, the figure in the mirror touched the glass with two fingers, leaving a faint smudge that glowed softly before fading. "You're not alone in this fight," she whispered. The warmth of the words lingered long after her image disappeared. For the first time in years, Ethan didn't feel the urge to drink. He felt the urge to listen. 2 nights later, Ethan sat at his small kitchen table, sipping tea instead of whiskey. The bar below was closed, silent, almost respectfully so. That's when he heard it. A melody he didn't recognize, drifting upward like smoke. Slow, unfinished. A song that felt more like a confession than a performance. He grabbed his phone and recorded it, certain it must be some rare demo he'd never heard. But when he played the recording back, the audio was empty, just clicking and static. In the silence between the clicks, however, he swore he heard a breath, soft, strained, like someone gathering the courage to say what they never had time to say in life. The melody returned, clearer this time. Ethan walked downstairs, following the sound to the center of the bar. The air shimmered faintly, bending like heat above asphalt. A single line rose from the distortion. "I love too deeply and too wrong." Pain, regret, longing, it was all there. Not haunting, not pleading, confiding. Ethan whispered into the empty room, "What do you want from me?" The answer came gently, almost grateful. "To stop losing yourself the way I did." Ethan woke to the scent of vanilla and smoke, the scent of a singer who lived fast and felt everything too loudly. His room was dim, the moon casting long strips of light across the floor. At the foot of his bed, a shadow leaned against the doorway. Not threatening, not hiding, waiting. She was clearer than ever, pale light outlining the curve of her jaw, her messy curls pulled into the familiar beehive silhouette. Her eyes, though shadowed, held a softness he never expected. The same softness found in her lyrics, the kind born from loving the wrong people with the right heart. "You break the cycle," she said gently, "or the cycle breaks you." Ethan sat up, gripping the sheets like an anchor. "Why me?" She smiled faintly, almost shy. "Because you listened." Her form flickered, the edges dissolving into thin trails of smoke. But before she vanished completely, the vinyl record on his shelf flipped itself, settling on a track she never recorded in life. A final line, fragile as breath, echoed through the room, "Save the parts they couldn't love." And then she was gone. The next evening, Ethan gathered every bottle he had hidden in drawers, cabinets, under the bed. Every secret he hoped no one would notice. He carried them downstairs to the bar's back alley. For a moment he hesitated, staring at his reflection in the glass. He didn't look haunted anymore. He looked awake. He smashed the first bottle, then another and another. The smell of alcohol rose sharp and bitter, but the air around him felt lighter with each shatter. When the last bottle broke, a single note drifted from the open bar door. Clear, gentle, unmistakably hers. Not a song, not a warning, a goodbye. Inside, on the counter where the whiskey glass once appeared, lay a folded napkin. His name was written across it in a looping feminine hand. Beneath it, "Don't choose what hurts you, choose what saves you." The jukebox clicked, cycling through songs until it settled on silence. Ethan exhaled, a long breath he felt he'd been holding for years. Amy didn't return again, but her presence lingered in the quiet. Not as a ghost, but as a reminder that even broken hearts can guide someone else home.